Gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Combat Veteran Reacts. I'm your host, Paul, combat veteran, MMA fighter, YouTuber, man who's still learning how to work this mic. Today, we are checking out a beloved fan film, to say the least. This is SCP Dollhouse, made by the same guy who brought us SCP Overlord. This is his previous project, and I'm excited. I'm sure you're excited. Also, be sure if you want to join me on stream, I'm streaming on Twitch. Check the link down below for the link to my Twitch. You should follow me and come hang out. All right, let's get into it. Also, I don't know if you guys knew this, Evan Royalty has a new project out. I'm going to put the link in the description to this because you should really check it out. He's kickstartering his last and final installment in the SCP series, and it sounds like he is going big. Oh man, okay, wait, I want to point out that his patch here says fun meter, and the fun meter is redlining. That is, I mean, when I was deployed, they did not let us have morale patches of any sort, actually. They were really mad because sometimes people would get the ISAF shoulder patch, but they would have it with a skull inlaid over it, which is not a great look.
If anything pops off, we're going to have a hard time telling people it was a gas leak.
Depends on what happens. Powers, what's the pool at now?
Okay, they look like they're dubbing these voices. Also, the skull mask face covers is not the kind of look. I always wonder why. Like, why would you muffle your voice, hide your face? Like, you know, some security forces hide their faces to avoid reprisals. But if you're going somewhere where it's not likely you'll be identified by your face, right? You're not a local from the area. Then it's probably just superfluous.
David Coleman, you had your chance.
I wasn't talking to you, O'Neill. Powers, when's the betting close?
When we get out of the car. You gonna call it?
Depends on the pool.
Fletcher?
250.
Given the intel, Cognito has her. That's my final answer.
Done.
Hell yeah! Always wanted to take your fucking money. Ready up!
It's so weird. You can tell they're dubbed because, yeah, this is just weird. The actors also look younger than they're supposed to be. And I say that, right, as someone who, you know, I'm 34. My voice is just naturally, like, a lot higher than your typical, like Jameson Travels or Jocko, who sound like grizzled veterans. I hate the fact that these guys, the young people today, use TikTok. Like, I also just am not as grizzled as I could be.
Let's get it, boys.
Payload 01 to talk. We've passed Vector, moving to the target building, over.
Roger, 01, over.
Okay, so right away, I've got some questions. Normally, all right, so it depends on whose tactics they're using. If they are treating this entire AO as a potentially hostile area, all right, like the way you would view, say, a combat patrol in Afghanistan, right? You'd want to establish 360 degrees of security, right? But if this is more like a SWAT operation where there is a singular target and you can be reasonably certain that, say, the surrounding area is not going to be hostile, then it would make sense to stack up and go. Now, what's more curious to me is that there's this bizarre decision that they seem to have made. The van is relatively, you know, concealed, right? It looks like a regular contractor's van. But these guys are obviously tactical geared out. And so they get out of the van, where they go from being basically concealed and not suspicious to extremely suspicious. So whatever their target is, if their target is just a single house or single place, then why they would choose to infill on foot, it doesn't really make sense to me. Okay, they're in a wedge formation, but they're all facing forward. Normally in a wedge, you want to face out as much as you can. They also, if they're going to be moving in a wedge, they call it keeping your head on a swivel. Everyone's always looking around in all directions, not just to observe for enemy, but to check to make sure you're still in formation. Okay, you see they've passed in front of a bunch of windows. This is also a really questionable decision. Good, if you're gonna hit a target like this, a house, you are gonna wanna either move really decisively. So you'd have the van pull up right in front of it, you get out and you go, because there's no hostiles anywhere but inside the house. Or you're gonna approach from an angle where the occupants of the house don't have a chance to prepare, a low visibility. And the front door, big open windows is probably not the right call. All right, we know they have the airspace overhead. Also, your driver getting out of your vehicle is a really bad decision because that vehicle is probably also your extract. If you take casualties, the plan is almost certainly to load them in the back of that vehicle and get them to the LZ or to their nearest medical site. And so having your driver not be in the van means that that van is going to take longer, one, but two, it's insecure, right? Even if it's not the hostiles you're thinking about, just something like someone who wants to rob, say, a contractor of their valuable tools might break into the van and walk off with your extra weapons, your spare ammo, communications equipment. I mean, you could lose some really sensitive stuff. Yeah, again, I would be curious to know. I'm thinking SWAT tactics. If you're going to get geared up like that, you probably want to just go in, right? Like, you want to just push in, use speed and decisive action, right? You want to surprise everyone. Don't give them a chance to react. You want to go from the house being empty to feeling like it's flooded with your guys, right? Like that. It should feel like an instant. If they're authorized to cut the lights, maybe they could have done that. But yeah, there's plenty of street lights. Okay, so here's the thing. You notice the door swung open to the left as you're entering it, and sure, the lead man gets to make the call. They walk in that room, they go the direction they want to go, and so they went straight forward. Good, solid. Or looks like they made a right. But you notice everyone is following them in a line. Not one person has checked behind that door, and honestly, that should be the number 2 man. Should be doing front and corner. It depends on your SOPs, right? But you want to make sure that someone should be checking behind that corner.
TOC, this is Payload 01, building secure. Moving to SSE, over. 02 and 3, on me. We'll handle the first floor.
TOC Time to go look for nothing.
Come on, Coleman. Foundation's gotta know what kind of porn Middle America's got stashed in their closet.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Would you do a more thorough search? Here's the thing, guys. When your tactics have to reflect the situation on the ground. You can't use last war's tactics for this war, right? And that's true here as well. What is the threat, right? So if the threat is a human size, if you're trying to find a human being, then you end up with these issues where they can hide in a lot of places. So you don't know if the house is clear if the threat is like a human being. If you're trying to find, for example, drugs or something else, then you really have to search this house. But if your goal is, and if you know that they use booby traps or explosives, then you have to be even more thorough. So you have to think about the threats, right? Your tactics should reflect the threats on the battlefield. That's true whether you're a patrol officer, whether you're a special forces team, whether you're a ground pounder walking around Afghanistan. Your tactics reflect the enemy's tactics and the situation, the reality on the ground. Which is probably also why you should take everything I say with a grain of salt, right? In universe, there may be perfectly reasonable explanations for why this team operates the way they do.
Computer's a mess. Nothing's working right. I think it's got the clap.
Any intel?
The densest part of this hard drive is the directory for a program called Java. It's software that's been running since before we got here. Looks just as fucked as the rest of this machine. Keeps crashing, hitching, and rebooting.
What's the program do?
I don't know, it just spits out code. All gibberish.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys, on-site exploitation, this is the act of trying to exploit intelligence from the things you find on a site, is my understanding, and again, I wasn't in the special operations community, and I know they are famous for being able to turn around intelligence like that, like hitting several targets. Like they hit target A, and while at target A, that intel tells them about target B, and they hit target B same night. But my understanding is that for most operations like this, unless you are looking for very specific types of intelligence, you want to get out of that house because you don't know. The enemy could be returning home. They could be coming back from a party right now. You want to get that intel out of the house, out of the target area, somewhere where it's secure and where your higher level ability to exploit, say cryptological assets, can go and really do their work. You don't want to do it in-house. Right? Like instead of flipping through files, you just grab all the files and you dump them right in. Or you take a gazillion pictures and just dip.
You guys personally know any shrinks?
Are you asking because it's related to the mission, or are you just curious?
The female occupant. Any idea why this is here? If she's living with this shrink, possibly in a relationship, why is he bringing his work home with him?
I don't know, I'm not a shrink.
Didn't your friends in Langley do her background?
Yeah, none of this came up.
How the fuck does somebody get institutionalized and not let that go on record? You see that?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys, first off, especially in 2020, here we are, 3 years later, 2022, telepsychiatry or performing psychiatry over the internet in a secure site, over a secure connection, is so incredibly normal. And it honestly has been for years. So nothing would be abnormal if you were to enter a house and be like, hey, here is clearly the office where the psychiatrist consults with their patients, right? Maybe they're an old school kind of psychiatrist. They like paper charts. They feel good being able to flip through a chart. They use a secure container, like a locked filing cabinet, to ensure that it remains HIPAA compliant. And yeah, nothing is exceptional about this. Other physicians take their work home in the same way? They may. Would like an oncologist or another type of specialty bring patient case files home? It's possible. If they have secure storage and can be HIPAA compliant, I think it's possible. So nothing about this having patient files in-house is noteworthy. And I don't know where they got the idea that she lives there.
For a year. What do people think? She just went for a long walk? If Langley missed that, how much else don't we know?
Yeah, it's very spooky, but it's not the kind of anomaly we're after. Keep looking.
Hey, TL, can you come here for a sec?
What is it?
Anybody else been in the living room since we came up here?
No.
Okay, so who moved out all the furniture? Hey, stop right there!
This is 01. We've spotted suspect 2 moving to apprehend. Over. This is 01.
I wonder if this inspired Ready or Not. For those of you that don't know, Ready or Not is actually a popular, recently developed SWAT-style shooter set in like a kind of horror, spooky world. I haven't played it, but let me know in the comments if you want me to do so. I'm down to stream anything.
Lost contact with suspect 2. Searching the area. Over.
There are hidden doors, some bullshit?
I like a challenge.
West, get up here, right now.
Couldn't have gone too far.
You find anything down there?
Nothing concrete. What happened up here?
Suspect 2 walked into this room from the other door. We went after her, but didn't find anything.
TL, you're gonna need to see this.
Got something?
Come here, check this out, all of you. Seeing this? I finally fucking lost it.
Fuck me.
Doc, this is Payload 01. We've passed trigger. Area appears to have non-Euclidean geometry that extends the house to an unknown degree. Moving in to reconnoiter the new area. Over.
Roger, 01. Status on suspect 2. Over.
Suspect's location is unknown at this time. Over.
Roger that. Proceed with the recon mission. If you feel as if the AO is too large for you to fully explore, get you and your men out of there. Over.
Understood. 01 out.
That's interesting. Non-Euclidean geometry. That's a good way of putting doesn't seem to obey the laws of physics or expands in ways and directions that don't make sense. You guys probably know Euclid, right? 8th grade math came up with some of the basic rules that govern shapes. See, now he's doing it right.
Any luck?
Nope. Just a lot of shit I don't understand.
I'm going to just point this out that they all have masks, but none of them have eye protection. Those are usually clear ballistic goggles that keep things out of your eyes, right? Just like safety glasses. In fact, in a lot of ways, they're exactly like safety glasses. And they're great, especially in a house where you think there might be a gunfight, because just particulate tends to fly everywhere when bullets are hitting things. And so it's always a good idea to preserve your eyesight, right? Even, again, something stupid like a little piece of drywall flying in your eye. I mean, that's a bad reason to have, say, your point man have to stop, get down on their knees, right, dig it out, even get their eye flushed out. It's just one of those silly things that just a pair of clear glasses will really go a long way to preventing. Right, I know what you guys are thinking. You're probably thinking the same thing I am, which is, wow, this seems like a trap.
O'Neill, you know anything about the word cardoon?
accusers' affiliations are still unknown at this time, but it's likely to assume they are not the attackers from 2 days ago. If it is indeed a raid, then the methods employed don't line up when compared to the MO of the previous attackers. It is, however, possible that they may be connected through an anonymous tip between the 2 groups. A mutual benefit that would imply can only be speculated. Wait, something's not right.
Stay frosty.
Yeah, we don't have tactics for dealing with ghosts. But this is why we talked about exploiting off-site. As you can see, this guy triggered some sort of trap just by trying to do a routine exploitation of intelligence, because he did it on site.
Fuck, my nut just turned off.
Mine too. I can't see shit. Coleman, you see something?
Shit!
Coleman, you good?
Yeah. What the fuck was that?
Sir, we need to go right now.
Talk, this is Payload 01. We have a threat in the building. Current weapons possibly insufficient. Permission to clear out, over.
Brandis 01, get your men out of there. Over.
To the Talk's immense credit, they seem to actually be listening. That's probably the least realistic part of this. It is almost legendary in the military community that whoever sits in the Talk, they try their best, but remember, they have their commander, their whole chain of command there, barking orders at them, wanting to know more, and they don't understand the situation on the ground.
Roger that. 01 out.
I've gotten so mad at the Talk, in fact, that my platoon sergeant at the time had to actually be like, sir, just give it a half hour, maybe don't go in the Talk. You seem pretty upset. And that's because I was. And he was probably right. I may have tried to beat the brakes off of any number of staff inside the Talk.
Fuck this house.
Wes, let's go.
You gotta be kidding me.
Talk, this is 01. 06 is down. I repeat, 06 is down. Possibly KIA, over.
What should we do?
Nothing we can do. We need to move.
It's rather late to call. How are you doing?
We heard there was a gas leak. Is everything okay?
Everything is fine.
Nobody's come to the house?
No, there is nobody here. Everything is fine.
If you insist, just checking in on you.
Completely understandable.
Alright, well, sorry to wake you. Have a good night.
You too. Goodbye.
Target is no longer present.
I mean, this is one of the things that's also kind of weird. Remember, we've talked about this in other videos, that when you communicate over the radio in the military, your bias should always be towards clarity and plain language. That's why a lot of the protocols exist, to avoid confusing or muddled language. But in a situation like this, where things are complicated and warrant a longer explanation, you can give it, and you can give it in plain language. You would say, hey, be advised, right, possibly KIA. The Talk's next question should be, possibly KIA. What does that mean? What exactly does that mean? Do we need to prepare a Casevac? Do we need to push a medic on site? Has your medic even assessed the patient, like the casualty? And right, That's why you want to always try to just plain language. Hey, there appear, hey, one of our team members is a casualty. They appear to be occupied by some sort of a digital entity. They're repeating the same word over and over. Their voice doesn't sound right, etc., etc. Clear, simple language is going to be your best bet. And the TOC can ask follow-up questions. Well, what do you mean it doesn't sound right? Well, the voice sounds like it's digitized. This is, again, the military, it's not like the net is reserved only for like special radio protocol talk.
Tried to raise you guys earlier. What happened to West?
He's gone.
What? How?
Dude got fucking vaporized or something.
Did you see anything else while you were in there? Anything that might point to what we're dealing with?
I don't even know how to describe it.
It was almost like a broken video game. Everything was glitching out, even the suspects.
Any clues on your end?
Just speculation. I think, this is just a guess, I think what you've seen here is connected to this computer. These glitches appearing may coincide with a lot of what I've seen on this machine. I think it's affecting everything in the area. Don't really know how or why, but like I said, it's my best guess right now.
So, theoretically, if you're right, then if we take that shit with us, it could possibly begin to affect things outside of the house?
That's assuming it isn't already doing that. Could have spread across this whole block for all we know.
So do we leave the laptop here?
Well, that's a very good question.
Why don't we just hit the power switch?
No, we don't know what will happen once it's off.
Right, this is why you exploit off-site. Somewhere there is some sort of expert who can actually provide real answers. Maybe they can even put together intelligence gathered off-site, which they don't appear to have access to.
Yeah, I don't want to be part of that experiment.
Here's what we can do. I can stay here while you guys return to the vehicle. I'll copy the important files over to a secure drive.
Who is he to know what's important?
And then shut everything down.
You sure about that, Fletcher?
I'm sure.
I'll stay too. If you go down, I can finish the job.
Try to make it quick. Let's move out.
Good luck, boys.
For that bet.
Come on, O'Neill. Nobody's ever won that.
Yeah. Always wanted to see a ghost, though. Fuck, my nods are no good. You almost done?
Yeah, we're good. Let's go.
That's pretty creepy. Is that what I look like when I lag in Tarkov? Okay, we gotta see, guys. There's gotta be some sort of end here, some sort of post-credit scene. Oh, maybe not. Oh, damn. Unit production. The events depicted are fictitious. Oh, thanks for clearing that up. I assumed they were really dealing with real anomalies. Okay, actually, that was pretty spooky. That was pretty creepy. I love the SCP universe. I think it's so cool. I think that was actually, in a lot of ways, better than Overlord. Again, kind of weird. I think the voice dubbing, it's pretty clear that the voice dubbing isn't quite right, but that was solid. Really creepy. Thanks so much, guys, for joining me on this. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys do, in fact, check me out on Twitch. If you have other SCP videos you want me to check out, be sure to comment down below. Also, if there's in-universe explanations for some of the things we saw or some of the tactics, let me know. Again, I like the SCP universe, but I know it goes deep in lore. So any additional info you can give me is always appreciated. And yeah, man, until next time, I'll see you guys later.